The small bell above the restaurant door jingled nervously as she stepped inside, each note echoing her racing heartbeat. The warm, aromatic scent of cooked food enveloped her, making her stomach twist with both hunger and longing. She tightened her grip on her daughter's hand, feeling the small fingers tremble in hers. Her eyes scanned the polished floors, the gleaming counters, and the neatly stacked menus, all signs of a place that seemed untouchable, a world apart from her own. She took a hesitant step forward. "Excuse me," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. I just need something for my daughter. Just a meal." The young manager behind the counter looked up, adjusting his crisp uniform, his expression polite but distant, as though he were addressing a problem rather than a person. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he said, his tone clipped. "You can't just walk in here and ask for free food. This is a business." Her chest tightened, and a wave of shame rolled over her. She had anticipated challenges, yes, but nothing had prepared her for this blatant dismissal. She knelt slightly to meet her daughter's wide, innocent eyes. The girl's small mouth quivered, sensing the tension in the air, her tiny hand clutching hers more tightly. I don't have money right now," the mother admitted, her voice quivering with vulnerability. "Please, just a meal. Anything." The manager shook his head with a smirk, leaning on the counter as if her desperation were a form of entertainment. "Maybe you should go somewhere else," he said, his words dripping with condescension. "We don't serve people like you here." The mother swallowed hard, fighting back tears. The words stung, but she refused to crumble in front of her daughter. She felt her own shame, her own exhaustion from endless days of struggle, yet she straightened her shoulders and met her daughter's gaze. There was a spark of hope in the little girl's eyes, a silent plea that pushed her mother forward. Her mind raced. She could not leave empty-handed, not when her daughter's stomach growled so quietly, yet so painfully. Somewhere, deep down, she knew that there had to be a way. She would not let pride, fear, or ridicule stand between her child and a warm meal. Her voice softened, almost a whisper, but laced with determination. "Please, just help us." The manager's eyes narrowed as he leaned on the counter, a cruel smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Do you expect us to feel sorry for you?" he asked, his voice rising with each word. "This isn't a charity. We don't hand out free meals to strangers." The mother's heart thudded painfully in her chest. The words stung, each one cutting deeper than the last. She felt herself shrink, as though the air around her had suddenly turned heavy and cold. Around them, other customers glanced over, some with sympathetic frowns, others pretending not to notice, yet their indifference only heightened her humiliation. Her daughter tugged at her sleeve, her small eyes wide with worry. "Mom, please," she whispered, her voice trembling. That soft plea ignited a fire in the mother's chest. She straightened, lifting her chin despite the weight of shame pressing down on her. "I'm not asking for charity," she said, her voice stronger now, though still tinged with fear. "I'm asking for help. My daughter hasn't eaten all day." The manager laughed, a harsh, grating sound that made her flinch. "Help? You think we exist to feed people who can't manage their own lives?" He gestured dismissively toward the child, whose eyes were starting to water. "Maybe you should go somewhere else. We don't serve people like you here." Her stomach twisted, anger mixed with despair, a bitter cocktail that made her feel dizzy. She wanted to shout, to demand respect, but the thought of making her daughter witness more conflict made her falter. Instead, she knelt slightly to brush a stray hair from her child's forehead. "It's okay," she whispered, trying to steady both herself and the little girl. "We'll figure it out." The manager's smirk widened as he glanced at other customers, clearly enjoying the attention. "Really, lady, you're embarrassing yourself. Everyone can see it." Something inside her snapped. The shame the man tried to heap upon her was not hers to bear. With a deep breath, she straightened fully, her gaze steady and unwavering. "I will not leave without helping my child. You can mock me all you want, but I am her mother, and I will not let her go hungry." For a moment, the restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Whispers rustled around her, the air thick with tension. The manager's face paled slightly, sensing the quiet authority in her voice, though he would never admit it aloud. Unseen by either of them, a figure watched silently from behind a glass partition, eyes fixed, measuring every word, every reaction, ready to intervene at the right moment. Behind a sleek glass partition at the back of the restaurant, the CEO observed the scene unfolding at the counter. He had come in incognito that morning, intent on witnessing firsthand how his staff treated customers. Usually, reports and metrics sufficed, but today he wanted to see reality, unfiltered, unedited, raw. From his hidden vantage point, he watched the mother and her daughter. The little girl's wide eyes, filled with a mixture of fear and hope, tugged at his heart. And the mother, quiet, resolute, worn by days of struggle but unwavering in her determination, stood tall despite the manager's mockery. Every word, every gesture told a story of resilience, of love, of unspoken desperation. The manager's laughter grated on him like a harsh wind. The cruelty, the condescension, it wasn't just unprofessional, it was inhuman. How could someone treat another person this way, especially a mother with her child? His jaw tightened. He had built this company on values of respect, dignity, and empathy, and yet here was a blatant betrayal of everything he believed in. The mother's voice rose, steady and quiet, refusing to be drowned by ridicule. She knelt for a moment, brushing her daughter's hair from her forehead, whispering words of reassurance that were barely audible over the manager's taunts. The CEO's chest constricted. There was something profoundly human in that small act of love, a mother protecting her child from the weight of the world. He took a slow breath, thinking about the lessons he wanted his employees to learn, about the culture he wanted to foster. This wasn't just a moment to correct one manager, it was a moment to teach humanity, to remind everyone what it meant to treat people with dignity. He glanced down at his phone, fingers hovering over the screen, not to call security, but to prepare for a personal intervention. His mind raced through the words he would say, the authority he would wield, and the subtle but unmistakable message he wanted to send. Cruelty would not go unnoticed. A pang of hope flickered in his chest. Perhaps this mother would leave with her child fed, and perhaps this manager would never forget this lesson. But more than that, perhaps everyone in this restaurant, and eventually everyone in his company, would remember the truth he had always tried to instill. Empathy is not optional, it is essential. He adjusted his tie, straightened his posture, and stepped forward from the shadowed observation room, ready to turn the tide of the moment, to rewrite the story that had begun with humiliation and fear. The CEO emerged from the shadowed observation room, his presence commanding the attention of everyone in the restaurant. The air seemed to shift, as if the room itself recognized authority. Conversations faltered mid-sentence, and even the clinking of cutlery paused. The manager straightened, a flicker of unease crossing his face. He had not expected anyone, least of all the CEO, to intervene personally. "Is there a problem here?" the CEO asked, his voice calm but sharp, cutting through the tension like a knife. The mother froze, unsure if she should speak, if this stranger, this powerful man, could truly change anything. Her daughter's hand squeezed hers tightly, sensing something monumental was about to happen. The manager stammered, trying to regain composure. I was just. You were just mocking a mother and her child for needing a meal." The CEO interrupted, his eyes blazing with controlled fury. "This mother and her daughter will be served, immediately. And you," he said, pointing directly at the manager, "will reflect on how you treat people. This behavior is unacceptable. Do you understand?" The manager's cheeks flushed, his mouth opening and closing, searching for words. The weight of the CEO's gaze rendered him speechless. Around the room, other staff and customers watched, the tension electric, the lesson clear without a single further word. The mother blinked in disbelief as a warm plate was set before her daughter. The aroma made her heart clench. So simple, so ordinary, yet a miracle in that moment. Her daughter's eyes widened, lighting up with joy as she hugged the plate and took a tentative bite. Relief, overwhelming and tearful, washed over the mother. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling, looking up at the CEO. She didn't know his name, but gratitude poured from her soul in a single, heartfelt phrase. The CEO nodded, a small, approving smile softening his stern features. "Empathy matters," he said quietly, almost to himself, but loud enough for the manager to hear. "Never forget that." As the mother and daughter settled into a corner booth, finally able to eat in peace, the CEO stepped back, letting the moment speak for itself. Around him, the staff exchanged uneasy glances, some thoughtful, some ashamed, but all changed in that instant. For the mother, it was more than a meal. It was a restoration of dignity, a confirmation that humanity still existed in unexpected places. And for the CEO, it was a reminder that true leadership meant standing up for the vulnerable, even when no one was watching, until today.